There's a price to pay for ignorance, and the bill is no longer just handed to transgender people. Now it's being delivered to your doorstep too, cisgender, heterosexual lady. That's right. You with your straight hair, straight marriage, straight everything. You who thought this gender debate was something that didn't concern you. You who rolled your eyes at pronouns and said things like biological reality over brunch. Now you can't even pee in peace without someone demanding your ID. This is what happens when hysteria replaces thought, when moral panic becomes public policy, and when the most insecure men in the country are told that protecting real women means inspecting everyone who looks like they might have used scissors on their hair. Suddenly, a butch lesbian walks into a Walmart bathroom and two sheriff's deputies storm in as if she's a bomb threat. A queer couple checks into a luxury hotel in Boston and a security guard demands to see documents, like they're crossing a border. A woman in Vegas just wants to wash her hands and ends up being filmed and berated by another woman who's decided she's the local chapter of the genital police. This isn't transphobia anymore. This is gender McCarthyism. You built the wall, and now it's falling on you. Let's start with Boston, shall we? Liberty Hotel. Sounds like a place for celebration, freedom, and romance. Instead, it became a checkpoint for anti-trans panic. Ansley Baker, a cisgender lesbian woman, needed to use the bathroom. You'd think, in a hotel called Liberty, she could at least pee without incident.
Wrong.
A security guard stopped her.
Why?
Because her haircut didn't say fragile flower, and her clothes weren't from the Stepford Wives catalog. She was with her girlfriend, which, as we all know, sends some people into moral seizure. He asked for ID. She complied. That should have been the end. Instead, they were expelled. Thrown out.
Not warned.
Not questioned. Expelled. Because she didn't look like what the security guard expected a woman to look like. In other words, he thought she was trans. And that was all it took. The guard was later suspended. The hotel promised inclusivity training. But let's not kid ourselves, this wasn't an accident. This is a direct result of years of lawmakers, media pundits, and parents screeching about how women's bathrooms are in danger. Well, congratulations, now they are. But not because trans people are in them, because you turn them into interrogation zones. Next, Arizona. A black teenage girl, 19 years old, walks into a Walmart bathroom. She's a lesbian. She's not there to protest or film a TikTok. She's there to use the toilet. But in walk two male sheriff's deputies who apparently believed that their badges gave them the power to decide who gets to pee and where. They questioned her, not politely, not calmly, but in a way that made it very clear she was the suspect. And her crime? Not wearing enough femininity. This is where we are. In 2025. Where your haircut, your jeans, your posture can become a crime scene. If that doesn't scare you, let's visit Las Vegas. The irony writes itself. The city of sin, where grown men can wear Elvis costumes and no one bats an eye, but a woman with a short haircut gets verbally assaulted in a bathroom. A stranger decided she must be trans. Because, of course, any woman not adhering to Instagram beauty standards must be a man in disguise. So she berated her. Loudly. In public. On camera. And somehow, the woman filming it believed she was the hero of the story. That's how far we've sunk. Hatred has become virtue. Harassment has become self-defense. And the biggest threat to your dignity is not who shares a toilet with you, but who thinks they have the right to challenge your humanity over it. And then there's the Capitol, the very sanctuary of democracy, where Representative Lauren Boebert mistook a cisgender woman for being transgender and reportedly had a meltdown. Imagine the arrogance required to look at a woman, not know a single thing about her, and decide she doesn't belong based solely on your own fear. Imagine the power required to weaponize that assumption in a public building. And imagine being so blinded by your own ideology that when someone tells you you're wrong, your only response is to dig deeper into the delusion. This isn't about bathrooms. This isn't about women's safety. This is about punishment. Punishing anyone who doesn't conform. Punishing lesbians. Punishing tomboys. Punishing anyone who disrupts the gender fantasy land certain people have created in their heads. And while trans women have been the primary target, the collateral damage is spreading fast, and it's taking down your sisters, your daughters, your girlfriends. Amy Toms, a cisgender woman in Connecticut, was just washing her hands in a Walmart restroom back in 2016 when she was verbally attacked. The attacker thought she was trans. Again, the haircut. Again, the clothes. Again, the madness. This isn't new. It's been building. What's new is that now, Even the ones who thought they were on the safe side of the binary are being hunted by the monster they fed. Let me be crystal clear. This is not accidental. This is what happens when you create a society obsessed with controlling gender. When you pass laws based on paranoia. When you let school boards debate the threat of a trans teenager but ignore gun violence. When you elect lawmakers who spend more time defining who gets to use what bathroom than funding actual education or healthcare. This is what happens when you train a population to think that their safety depends on identifying and rejecting the other. Well, guess what? The other now looks a lot like you. Every time a cisgender woman is questioned in a bathroom, it proves how thin the boundary really is between us and them. Every time a lesbian is harassed for walking into a space meant for women, it proves that hatred doesn't stop where you want it to. It doesn't have brakes. It doesn't read disclaimers. It doesn't know that you're one of the good ones. Hatred just consumes. What's especially rich is that some of the same people crying about being mistaken for trans are the ones who stood silently when trans people were denied basic rights. Where were your voices when trans women were being misgendered on national TV? Where were your protests when legislators banned gender-affirming care for minors? Where was your outrage when bathroom bills turned daily life into an obstacle course for trans people? It's almost poetic. You built the cage, and now you're locked in it too. Of course, the media rarely connects these dots. Each incident is treated as isolated. A misunderstanding. A one-off. Never mind that it keeps happening. Never mind that it follows a pattern. Never mind that it stems from a coordinated campaign of dehumanization and gender policing that's been running full speed since the bathroom hysteria of the 2010s. The headlines won't say that. They'll say controversy. They'll say debate. They'll say tensions rise.
No.
This isn't a debate. This is what oppression looks like when it metastasizes. This is what happens when hatred gets institutionalized. And if you think you're safe just because you're cis, just because you're straight, just because you pass, you're not paying attention. They are coming for you too. They're already here. If you don't believe me, try walking into a public bathroom in jeans and a hoodie. Try having a short haircut and no makeup. Try being a tall woman with a deep voice. Try existing without performance. You'll see. This is not a transgender problem. This is a society problem. This is the end result of telling people that their identity can be judged by strangers, legislated by politicians, and nullified by suspicion. If you want to stop this, stop the cause. Stop the bathroom bans. Stop the school board witch hunts. Stop the laws that equate trans identity with perversion. Stop elevating the voices of bigots who sell fear as protection. Because let's be real, if your safety depends on identifying strangers' genitals, you were never safe to begin with. I'm not writing this for sympathy. I'm writing this as a warning. The system of scrutiny you helped build is now devouring your own. The myth that only trans people would be harmed by anti-trans laws has collapsed. Cisgender women are being stopped. Lesbians are being ejected. And everyone's dignity is up for grabs. You thought you were on the side of order. But the chaos is yours now too. You thought you could sit this one out. You were wrong. Welcome to the fallout.